If you like these weekly reports, you're going to love the UrbanDigs forum. Right on our dashboard, scroll down, you'll see latest posts between the rental market, zoning, commercial, retail, new devs. It doesn't matter what it is. You got questions, we got answers. We got the experts standing by, waiting for you to discuss what's on your mind. Get everything right here in the UrbanDigs forum. Hello, everyone. This is Noah and John. We are from UrbanDigs, and we got a weekly Manhattan market report. John, I'm getting right into it. I'm going into supply. We're at 77.28. What is it telling us?
Well, let's put that chart up there, Noah, and here it is. That's 77.28. That's a 3% increase from last week, and no surprise, week before was up 4%. I mean, active supply is just creeping up, death by paper cuts kind of thing.
Gotcha. All right. Well, at least the pace is declining a little bit week to week. I mean, the last thing you want is to see that increasing and see that jump up to 9,000. So that's a good week to week anecdote, is that it's declining in terms of pace from last week. Going on to pending sales, 1369. It doesn't feel good, John. What does it look like versus the chart?
Well, pending sales, you have to think of this as a pipeline number. It's basically how fast are we putting deals in through contract signs versus how fast can Acris take them out by closing. And Acris is winning this race right now. We're down 2.5% from the last week, 1369. But, it looks like it's leveling off here. So if we can put more deals into contract, this number will finally start growing again.
This is a really interesting point. All right. So what you're saying is by being pipeline based on pending sales, we got the stuff coming in from the brokers putting listings into contract, and that's still at kind of depressed levels, even though it's rising. And you also got stuff coming out of pending sales because Acris is filing those sales, and Acris is gearing up and ramping up those sales now, and it's pulling that out faster than it normally would. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's right. And, a lot of people look at pending sales to see where is demand in the market. And frankly, right now, it's not that good of an indicator because it's pipeline based. So it's basically adding to the confusion by suggesting that demand is just weekly demand is down and down and down, when that's just not the case. And we can go to the weekly charts and look at that.
Right. Let's go to the weekly charts. But before I want to do that, everyone, I want to sneak in a little update on UrbanDigs. All of my sales charts are now going to have recent months. You guys asked for it. We listened. If you notice on these sales charts, there's 2 months right here. They are in gray. That is the most recent data. It is incomplete because Acris takes time to file them, but it is a new feature. You asked for it. It will be changing as the data comes in, but at least you can track it, and we give you a visual separation in terms of what that looks like. So I wanted to sneak that in. Now I'm going to go right to the dashboard. I'm going to take a look at what's going on a weekly pace. I'm going to go 1 week active, 1 week active. Ding, ding, ding. 550. That's down from last week, right, John?
Yeah, let's put that chart up there. That's 550. That's down about 13% from last week. It's a good sign, I suppose, that listings are starting to taper off. We got that initial surge with the reopening, and, maybe
Right.
this is sort of the beginning of a new trend of, sellers are on the market at this point.
Right. That's a good point. All right. Moving on to 1 week contract signed. 1 week contract signed, 138. That looks like it ticked down a little bit.
It is a tick down. Let's put that up there. 138. It's down about 6.75%. No surprise. We had that initial surge. The buyers came out, did their things. It's hot. It's humid. It's summer. It's slow.
Right.
And the number's kind of ticking down. But the good thing is it's not spiking down. It's just drifting down. So
is it
I'm cautiously optimistic on this one.
Is it safe to say, John, that like a typical active season, we're just got to get through the sweltering August and get to after Labor Day before we see a pickup?
Typically there is a pickup. There is a pickup there. There's also a pickup in supply. So let's cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay. Well, I want to do something very, very interesting because I want to break down, because I have a theory, John. I have a theory that there's 2 parts to COVID. There's shutdown COVID, and then there's reopen COVID. We still have the COVID waves going on, but these are 2 very different points in time. So I want to take a look really quick at shutdown COVID, which I guess we would define as March 23rd to June 22nd, okay? And take a look at how many contracts were signed. And this is interesting, okay? 660 deals were done in that I guess, 3-month period. And now let's take a look at where we are in terms of reopen COVID. So that would be June 23rd to July 31st. Okay, so we have 660 there. And now what we got? 563. Okay, so we got 560. It's almost like we got just as many contracts signed in reopen COVID as we did in the 3-month stretch with shutdown COVID, right? So you add all this together, and you got around 1,223 contracts that are signed that are yet to close, that are COVID But again, 660 of them are shutdown COVID, 563 of them are reopen COVID, totally different dynamics going on, even though they got, you know, the negative clouds over both of them. You have a chart that shows us something really interesting. It shows us contract signed sales data. So it's putting it in the bucket of contract signed. Could you go into that, please?
Yeah, let me put that up there right now. So basically, this chart is showing you these blue bars are the listing discount for when the deal was signed, not when it necessarily closed, but when it was signed. And that red line you see there, that's the number of sales that's populating that bar. So you can see all these bars are mainly populated still by pre-COVID sales. I mean, look at the March bar, right. February bar, you know, you're full up there. But when you start getting into May, June, July, I mean, that red bar starts getting awfully close to that x-axis, indicating a very, very few amount of sales. So let me just take a second here. Let me redo this chart. I'm going to overlay the contract signed on top of it.
Well, before you go into that, how many deals were how many deals were signed in April, May, June, July? It was like 120 in total, right, John?
Yeah, it's like 133. So, you know, if you take those versus the 1127 or so contracts signed, we still have about over 1,000 deals yet to come, about 1,100 deals still coming to close.
Exactly. So we still have, if we look at shutdown COVID and we look at reopen COVID, we have around 1,100 total contracts signed. We've only had about 130 of those so far closed, which means you got about 1,000 COVID trades that is yet to come in the pipeline of sales that we're waiting for. And the ultimate point I'm trying to come out here is price discovery for COVID is just starting.
Yeah, and here you can see I put that contract sign number there. So you can see how that contract sign number, that yellow line starts ticking up. And as long as there's a big spread between the yellow and the red line, it basically indicating that Acris hasn't really published these sales yet. So we got to wait on those.
And that is really interesting. Look at how that's following it. Look how the contract signed activity is following that sales volume to a T. And then except at the very end where it looks like the pickup happened. That's exactly right.
Yep.
Great point. So we got some interesting sales data coming in. And I guess the next couple of months is what's going to show all this price discovery. Bring it on. We need to see what's going on so we can get past it. Thank you, John Walkup. My name is Noah Rosenblatt. We are from UrbanDigs. This is your weekly market report. And we'll catch you next time.